offering benefits to a business that wants to move and is considering one of our cities here. But if the underlying conditions, if the tax structure, if the regulatory structure is forbidding, they'll go somewhere else, no matter how good a deal these gentlemen offer them. And so what I'm looking for, and you'll see this in the white paper that I passed out as many copies as I could before the meeting, is that we have to look at the underlying fundamentals so that young entrepreneurs, particularly, but people that make, offer jobs generally, which are mostly mature entrepreneurs, can open new businesses and can say, yes, I want to be in Deltona or DeBerry or Orange City or the areas roundabout for these reasons. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least is the gentleman at the very end of the table who probably has the biggest job, biggest task of anyone trying to develop economic growth here in our city, is Jerry Mays, who is the new Economic Development Director. I think, Jerry, you've been on the job now, what, about, well, you can tell him when you get up. But Jerry is the new Economic Development Director for the city of Deltona.
It's always very much fun to be the last to speak when all the good things have already been said. You're thinking, what am I going to say, okay? My name is Jerry Mays. I do business development for our city. Mike, I've been on this job since January the 10th, a true eternity.
Well, that's why I was trying to make sure they didn't shoot any arrows at you, because I know you just got started basically on the job, okay?
I've had people in Deltona tell me, as if they didn't know that I live in Deltona and have lived here for almost 30 years as a citizen of Deltona, or as a resident prior to 1995 and a citizen since that time, that Deltona needs this and Deltona needs that. I've raised 2 children, and now we're raising grandchildren in this city, and have in-laws in this city. And we're dug in here, which is why I wanted to take this job and see what I could do for Deltona, trying to get things done, trying to get jobs in our city. I've heard it said that because Deltona is a residential city, well, let's just make it the best residential city we can. You know what? I agree with that. Of course, a lot of folks simply means, oh, let's just stay a residential city. But to me, the best residential city you can have is a city that has its residents, has the amenities that those residents need, the restaurants, the auto services, the entertainment, has the jobs that we need, the medical, the manufacturing, jobs that pay very well so that our citizens don't have to drive to Seminole and Orange County to work there to earn the pay that they do. Keeping in mind, Deltona's average income per home, per household, is higher than the national average across the nation. We have folks here who are hurting, sure, but we have folks here who are doing all right too. And yes, we have high unemployment in Deltona. If you say, all right, we have 15% unemployment in Deltona. Well, that means we have 85% employment in Deltona. And when you turn it from the half empty to the half full, it sounds a whole lot better. And that's one of the things we're going to have to do in Deltona. We're going to have to work to make it a lot better. One of the things I learned over the years in economic development is that economic development is a team sport. I don't do it by myself. I depend on our city commissioners to work with me. Mr. Hertz. I depend on the county to work with me. And they do. And it helps. Because we're doing things. Things are happening in Deltona. We're creating jobs. We lose some days, but overall, we're creating more jobs than we're losing. As long as we can stay net positive on employment, we're moving ahead. And we're trying to create better jobs. And hopefully we'll get into that more this season. Thank you very much. Thank
you. Jerry, this question, the first question should really be directed to you as a follow-up to what you just said in your presentation. It says, what steps have been taken by the City of Deltona to attract major restaurants, department stores, and professional businesses? Also, what plans are in place for the development of 472 and the I-4 corridor. Okay? Good question.
Good question. Day I walked in, January 10th, the first thing I heard was we need more restaurants.
You don't have a microphone, I can't hear so well.
Can't hardly hear you, Jerry.
I can solve that problem.
Okay.
The day I walked into Deltona on January the 10th and took this job, people told me, we need restaurants. They said, we want a Panera. We want Darden restaurants. We want this, we want that, we want all these things. And you know what? I want to get them for you. But before I can get them for you, we have to have one thing. Hey, George. That is called a lunch crowd. I've gotten some expansion in restaurants in Deltona. And what I found out is what site selectors, when I'm talking to them from Darden, from Bojangles, from this one, that one, and the other, is you don't have a lunch crowd. When we get restaurants in, and I have the restaurateurs who have opened those restaurants tell me, I'm having a hard time at lunchtime. I realized then, yes, we have to develop a lunch crowd. Now, how are we going to do that? We need a lunch crowd. That means we develop other jobs, day jobs, jobs here in the city that pay well enough that people stay in the city and work in the city. This is medical jobs. This is manufacturing. These are office jobs. These are the things we have to have in the city to build that lunch crowd. When we build a lunch crowd, the restaurants will be knocking on our doors. Because, what's the old saying? Deltona's the 800-pound gorilla. I've heard that again and again and again over the years, but in its own way, it's true. If we can get the lunch crowd built, we can get the restaurants. Until then, I will continue to try and get you restaurants. But I would rather have office jobs, medical jobs, and manufacturing jobs that pay double what a restaurant job pays in Deltona. Because if we have the money, we can afford our own restaurants and we'll get people to come in and look for our money and build their restaurants here. You ask about 472, Howland Boulevard, I-4. How do you like that theater going up out there?
Yeah.
All right. Lord knows we've waited for years for that to happen, but it's out there now. I mean, it's got the color on the side, everything's happening. If you drive by, you can see where the parking's going to be, everything like that. We've got a convenience store gas station that we're having a meeting on within the next couple of weeks. That's going to be going into the activity center. We have a small, it's not fair to say small, let's say they specialize in a special type of morning food, okay? A lot of that food has a hole in the center. I'm down to 0 already, and I can start talking, okay. All right, so we are developing restaurants. We do have a big box store that is looking at that area, okay? Around that, it's all going to develop. So it is happening. Stay with us, believe in it.
Thank you, Jerry. We're going to use the same time slot that we used when you introduced yourselves and made your presentation. And again, this is our timekeeper. You will be given 3 minutes to articulate whatever the question is that was asked of you. And of course, like you said, some of this can go on, but this is the first forum. I think it's a good one. I think it's something we'll have on a continuous basis so you can hear more and see more about really what's going on in your city. This one right here, I think, should be directed to our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Smith. It says, what is Volusia County Schools doing about strengthening and developing vocational education? Good question.
Good question.
Excellent questions. Let me tell you that we don't use the word vocational anymore, so if you're looking for that word in our school system, you won't find it. However, we do use the word career education. And we are strengthening our career education. Every year we are building on the foundation that we have. I've been in Volusia County now 8 years as superintendent and proud to be the superintendent of Volusia County. And when I came to the district back in 2004, there were about a half dozen career academies. Now we have some career academies in every one of our schools. And we try to have diverse career academies because we believe in choice, where our high school students can select a school within reasonable proximity that has the academy that would be of their interest. You know, today we have to train young people to be prepared for technical skills. You know, the workforce, whatever you're doing, if there's a reasonable wage level of working with business, industry, corporations, you have to have technical skills and you have to have high-level academic skills. So what we do is we offer our career academies. It could be anything from engineering, science, mathematics, health academies, which cover the medical fields, teacher education, law and government. I could go on and on and on. But that's the vocational education of today, career education. And what we do is we integrate the academics so it's relevant. So it's an area of their interest. It's something they are thinking about doing when they leave high school, a particular career field. And so we prepare them to be able, whether it's to go on for some post-secondary that would be more like a technical school, maybe a 2-year program, maybe it's on to a 4-year college, you know, whatever the case may be in those career fields. We're actually recognized nationally by the Ford Foundation as one of the top 5 school districts in the entire country for our career academies and for the way that we train our students and that we educate our students to be able to be successful when they graduate from high school. You know, our career academy teachers and the leaders who work with them, we actually are invited all around the country to demonstrate and present what we are doing here, you know, in Volusia. So think about it in the terms of preparing students for careers and career academies, career and technical. In our middle schools, we have career and technical courses for our students.